Good evening, good morning. This is Ollie Bilson on the Path to Purchase podcast, and I am with Mr.
Tom Breeze.
Impressive. Very, very.
I think you started off with some low energy there, so I thought I'd bring it up a little bit.
I know you have, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's getting late in the day here.
I know.
We're taking out time of the evening to do this.
Yeah.
So I think the listeners should be very pleased with us.
Yeah.
And I'm very pleased with our listeners, to be fair, to listening into us rabbit on. I mean, we're 30 seconds in and we're still talking about the intro to this.
Well, I'm just going to share with you an embarrassing story.
Okay, I like that start. That's good.
Fine.
Embarrassing for you or embarrassing for me? You're
going to like this even more.
Okay.
As you know, I was speaking in Phoenix at Icon at Infusionsoft's conference, and this lady came up to me and she said to me, hey, she went, "It's Path to Purchase, isn't it?" And didn't obviously say anything. I was like, "Oh, yeah,
that's your name."
Hello. Yes. I was like, "Oh, good. We've got some fans over here." She said, "Oh, absolutely. I listen to your podcast all of the time." I thought, "Oh, that's very good. Excellent. She said, "Yeah, I just really enjoy listening. It's pretty much one of the only podcasts that I listen to religiously, and you'll have to, you'll have to make sure you keep up with your episodes because it's great." I said, "Okay, cool." And she said, "You know what?" She said, "Don't say it to your partner on the podcast, but I hang off virtually every word you say." And I said, "Oh, that's very, very kind of you." And considering I'm the one that talks a lot, I figured that was me. And then she said, "Tom, it's been a pleasure meeting you." And so that was that. Yeah.
So I don't know who this lady is. Do you know what her name was or not? Should we call her Margaret for now?
No, I can't remember. I can't remember her name. And you know what? I want to forget it as quick as possible as well. Whoever you are, you need to know.
You've made it an internet thing now.
You need to know.
You've got this. You've documented this experience now. So you wanted to forget about it, and now it's documented.
Yeah.
I think you should change your ringtone to that now as well.
Yeah. And of course now, what's going to happen is perhaps next year at Traffic and Conversion or something, somebody's going to come up to me and another person's going to come up to me and they're going to do the same thing to me and it's going to really annoy me. It won't at all, by the way. It's not that I'm bothered by any of this. So
yeah, just get Ollie's name right. Just call him Ollie. If you want to really annoy him, though, call him Tom and just tell him how good he is. And then call him Tom at the end. In fact, that'd be brilliant. But this Margaret lady, I'm calling her Margaret for now. Thank you so much. It's nice to have one of our 3 listeners telling us that we're doing a good job. So it's always nice to know. Absolutely.
Oh, look, we have people live on the podcast in the background collecting their things, going home.
Ah, who was that?
There we go.
Was that Margaret? Was that Margaret?
On the video side of the podcast, had a little treat there.
Who was that? I've got someone coming into my office. Wait 1 second.
This is unbelievable.
Actually, I don't know what they're doing. So I've got an office next to my main office, and I can see a window, and there's someone who's walking in and out. I presume they're cleaners. I don't know, maybe just stealing stuff. There we go.
Yeah, I think it's, they don't appreciate that there's a high value production going on here. So, with that said, let's dive into it. People don't.
Okay, I apologize to everybody. But I think that if you're still listening to this podcast, then you know that we ramble on for a little bit and then we get into it. So we always vow to each other we won't do it, but we keep on doing it. So let's just make it a thing that we just do. Anyway, let's talk about end screens on YouTube videos. And this is something that I think that everyone has to now do, by the way. So if you want to link from your YouTube video to anywhere else, another video, subscribe, a link to your website, anything that you want to do inside of YouTube, you have to use end screens now. The good old days of annotations and external annotations are gone. So those days are over. And if you just as a caveat to that, if you have external annotations working on your videos right now, don't worry, you haven't lost them, but you can't edit them. And you and you have to use from now on in end screens in your videos if you want to start creating new videos, just so you're aware. So what are end screens? End screens are basically, do you like how I prep myself up there for a talk?
I know, yeah. I was going to interrupt and say, oh, well, hold on, Tom. Why don't you...
What are these damn things? Yeah. So it's a clickable link at the end of your video. And if anyone's like a YouTube aficionado who's used a lot of videos on YouTube before, they'll know that getting people to click from videos back to the website has been a bit of a pain in the past, because if you use an external annotation, that works on a desktop, but it doesn't work on a mobile or a tablet, which is frustrating. And then if you did set up your video just on YouTube and didn't intend to use it as an ad, it's very difficult to get a link to your website. You can use cards, but they're difficult to use. No one really uses cards that often. And then if you use it as an ad, or you set it up as an ad, then you can get what's called a call to action overlay, which is like a little bottom left-hand little link that you can click for the user. And then you can decide where you want to send your visitors as well. But now, more recently, they've introduced what's called end screens. And this means in the last 20 seconds of your video, you can have a link to another video, a link to your website, and they come up and can be used on desktop, mobile, and tablets. So it's great. It's a bit of a revelation for anyone that's using YouTube, because you can link to different things. And if you're clever about it, as most YouTubers are, they're really creative with this whole process. You can have links to other videos. You can kind of like, we're using it for our choose your own adventure style ads, which is kind of where we won't just necessarily say click to the website now. We might segment our audience a little bit and say, do you want to click this one, or do you want to click this one? And they can choose where they go next. So an example of that is with our guitar guide. I think we've spoken about this before in one of the episodes, where we say, are you in a rut with your guitar playing, or are you a newbie? Click which one makes most sense to you, and I can give you better advice. With Frank Kern, we're doing one at the moment where it's like, do you want to, in terms of promoting your business, do you want to learn more about generating more leads for your business, or closing more sales for your business? And you can choose which one you want to go and see next, which is really cool. So it means that you engage the viewer a lot more, which is really cool. And they work incredibly well from a return on investment standpoint as well so far. So that's worked really well for us. And then you can also have a clickable link from there to your website as well. And that's what you want to use in your video, where you do actually want someone to go and visit your website. Now, what's really interesting about the external annotation of the past is you had to have like an associated website with your YouTube channel. So you'd say, this is my website, and this is where I want to send traffic to, this domain. And then you can send it to any page on your domain, but it had to be of that domain. Still the same thing with end screens. So you submit your website, and you have to put a bit of code onto your website in order to verify it with YouTube. Pretty easy process, but YouTube want you to do that so they can prove that it's your website. But you can actually have multiple websites as well. So you can create lots of different websites instead of your webmaster tools that you can associate with your YouTube channel. And so it means that you can then say, right, I've got like 4 or 5 different websites I want to send traffic to. You can set that all up inside of your YouTube channel. When you're doing that, if you want to set it up, then you need to go to, trying to remember it off the top of my head, when you log into your YouTube channel, you go to your Creator Studio, and inside there you look at your channel, and then go to Advanced. And as you scroll down the options, you'll see website association, or associated website might be. You fill in your domain name and then press submit, and then you have to add a bit of code. You can verify it and then confirm. Once you've done that process, you can then have it like links to your website. And what's great about these end screens at the end of your videos is that you have 20 seconds maximum they can be on at the end of the video. And it could be a minimum of 5 seconds, I believe it is. So you can have any kind of like time length between those two. But when you use an external annotation, you also need to, an end screen with a link to the website. You also need to make sure you include a link to something else as well. They don't let you just have a link to the website alone. And that annoyed us for a little bit to begin with, but we actually worked out as actually a positive thing. Because let's say, for example, you say in the last 20 seconds of your video, you might say something like, okay, so to go and register for the webinar, click here right now. And you might then you kind of like might pause or make it feel like the video is paused. And so you might have 15 seconds or about let's say 10 seconds once you've done a bit of a call to action to allow the viewer to click that link. And then in the last 5 seconds, we would have another graphic come up to say, or if you want to watch more great content, click here, which is also a great way of doing it. So like, and then you'd have a link to a video at that point, which would be another one of your YouTube videos. And it's great if you link to another video that does the same thing, promotes the webinar again, or promotes something else, but probably just gives it a different angle on the sales message there.
Have you already paid for have you already paid at that point for the consumption of the ad before they click? Just to make it clear to the audience, with these end frame ads, end frame to replace the annotations that there were previously that people will be familiar with, are they paying per click on those annotations, or are they paying because actually there was already consumption to the point on that video, therefore they're going to pay for it? How does that work?
It's a good question. And to be fair, right now, I'm not 100% sure. So I know that if you run your video with an end screen as an ad, then if someone clicks the bottom left-hand corner link on a desktop, or on the top right-hand corner link, which is the white text, which you normally see pop up, that would be, if someone clicks that, that's when you definitely pay. So you pay for a click at that point. If someone watches past 30 seconds of a pre-roll ad, then, or an in-stream ad, that's when you also pay. If someone was to click your end screen, I don't think you do pay. I don't think you do pay. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't tested it, because the vast majority of our videos are actually more than 30 seconds, and it's not easy to test that quickly. You could put different UTM parameters on the links and see which actual link they click, and you have to check that in analytics, then you have to measure up how many people clicked. But then you don't have to watch more than 30 seconds as well. So there's a difficult one to work out exactly. Yeah, you could test that, I suppose. You could have an ad that's like 10 seconds in length that then brings in the call to action with an end screen there to a link to the website that would last for 20 seconds and finish off the video with like 10 seconds to go or something. Maybe that would work, and you might be able to get some free clicks in your video if you've got someone to click the end screen before 30 seconds is up. That might work.
How difficult are these things to create? Are they pretty quick? Kind of as an average person, can they do it? Do they have to do it inside Facebook? Are they doing it? Just explain that process of kind of how quick and easy it might be to set this up, and is it easy to change, up the way that they look, or the appearance of them, etc.?
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, you wouldn't set them up on Facebook, because it's a completely different platform.
No, I just said.
You just said that, yeah. I know you didn't mean to say that. Yeah, I know you meant to say YouTube. So what you do, so you go to Facebook. No, you don't. So what you do is you create your video like you normally would, right? If you know about how end screens work, you would edit the video slightly differently than what you would normally do. So we're telling our clients, like, when you create your video, you need to finish your video, and you can't say, and let me try and phrase this as clearly as possible, it's not going to be in your favor to say, click this link to register for our webinar, where you're going to find out, and then you go on for another 30 seconds or so. Because if you do that, when you say click this link, you're going to only have the last 20 seconds when you can actually include that link. So if you say click this link that's displaying in the video right now, and then go on for more than 20 seconds, you can't actually add in the end screen when you say those words of click the link. Does that make sense to you, Ollie?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, perfect. But likewise, you want to give the viewer enough time to click it. If you're still talking when the link is there, people will listen and they don't click. They're still waiting for you to finish so they can click the link. So you want to kind of do it and say, click the link. So you might say, so on this webinar, you're going to get this, that, and the other. You're going to really enjoy it. Blah, blah, blah. This is the worst call to action that I'm doing an example of right now. But then to register for the webinar, all you need to do is click here right now, and then go silent, sort of thing. And then you'd hold that button there, because then you've got like 20 seconds to hold that button there. Because you want to give people enough time to click it, and you almost bore them to the point where they're, all right, I'm just going to click it now. I'm not expecting anything else to happen at this point. Because then in the last 5 seconds, if they haven't clicked it, you would create the video that you have to include. It would then say, go and check out this other video as well. So, but knowing that going in, you would create the video according to that. And then also, once you've played around with end screens, you're going to see how they actually look when they come up on YouTube. So when you upload your video, you go into your settings of your video, so where you change all your like title of your video, your description, your tags, etc., your thumbnail, and all that sort of good stuff as well. That's not really changed too much. When you look at where you would have had annotations in the past as one of the options in your settings to change the information about your video, end screens will also be there, or actually it says end screens and annotations. It's probably going to say end screens only soon as well, I would have thought. So you click end screens, and then it's just actually very, very simple. You just drag and drop and put the actual bits you want where you want. And the click to the website button is a square little button. I think it's 70 pixels by 70 pixels. I think it may be slightly different to that. And then the links to other videos is actually like a thumbnail of those videos, and that you can make them different sizes. So the videos could be larger or smaller, but the website one is always the same size. But once you know those dimensions and you know how it looks, what I would recommend is if you're running your video as an in-stream ad, actually have that website link on the left-hand side of the video, because on the right-hand side, of course, is the skip ad button. So you kind of want to focus the attention away from that skip ad button. Yeah, exactly. So set it up so the actual website link is on the left-hand side, but it's not one of those things where you, it's not like a template where it's like it fits here, here, or here. You can put it anywhere. It's kind of like, it's very easy to move it around a little bit. And then as a viewer, as you're watching the video, when you hover over that button, it has like an expander that comes out, like it expands out and just gives you a little bit more information about about what it is you're about to sign up for. So I think it shows the website link, and it shows like visit here, or you can change the text as well. It can say download here, or it can say lots of different types of text. But and also you get to decide what the actual website link box looks like. So it could be, you can change to whatever graphic. And we've been testing recently with like the words click here on the actual button, along with like a thumb of those icons on there's like a finger and a thumb pointing outwards to indicate where to click, basically. It's like a cursor, like a hand cursor almost. So we just have that with click here underneath it, and then we'd actually get the presenter to make it clear. So they say, so if you just click here, and then you could just like make sure that you just, when you do it, you make sure the end screen website link actually appears just where their hand is. Or if they would just want to like just click the link on the screen, we often get a lot of clients that do that, or click the link, which is often we clients to say that as well, because then it means you can use that same video for a Facebook ad as well if you wanted to as well, which means you don't kind of just make it exclusive for YouTube. If you say click the link that you can see right now, and that's fine because it's obvious enough from YouTube. So that's the new way to click, really, from YouTube, and it's end screens. Everyone should be using them because, well, now you have a choice. They are the only things you can use, but there's so much more creativity to it. I love when it comes to like having to be a creative process. It's difficult when you're given a blank canvas, but when you're giving some rules of like, here's what you can do and what you must adhere by, then it means you can get really creative with what you can come up with. I think that like the way that people are going to start using these in a much more creative way. I think that you can use the choose your own adventure style video ads. I think you can allow people to make like decisions on what they want to go and see next. I think that all of that stuff is how we're looking at building out YouTube. And if you're watching this, podcast right now, or this video podcast right now, you're going to see behind me on the chalkboard something we've been building out here. That's going to be part of our presenting. So we're teaching people how to present on camera, and we're teaching people how to build YouTube campaigns, but we're going to keep it all inside of YouTube because we want people to have an experience on YouTube. We want to, instead of just building like blogs and building like podcasts and things, whilst it all is amazing to do all that stuff, we think the future is about building experiences for our users. So I heard a really good quote the other day about like storytelling. It used to be like brands used to be the storytellers. I think that's evolving now slightly to say, well, we are the story enablers. Let the user have their own story with you. So like choosing your own adventure and allowing people to click through to different videos and then have another segmentation allows us as advertisers to remarket people in exactly the right way. We know what they're interested in, gives the user a much better experience. They're clicking through, and we're seeing that it's providing some amazing results and amazing like some of the comments we're getting on our YouTube ads, which notoriously people hate. The ads now are getting like comments that are saying things like, this is one of the best ads I've ever seen on YouTube, and you guys should get into advertising, because obviously
Love
they don't
it.
know that we actually do it. But people are absolutely loving the videos we're creating as YouTube ads. So like, that's difficult to get someone to change their opinion that much, but we feel like if it's not always about ROI, I mean, ROI is the most important thing when it comes to advertising from my perspective. It's making sure that we are making a profit, but keeping it in tune with the fact that like, you've got to give a great experience, because it's partly about the brand as well. Like, if you can give someone an amazing experience, the chance of them buying is so much higher. So whilst it might not be like a direct, did that ad turn into money ROI, it'll be more a case of, did that experience bring you more customers and people raving about you? Probably yes. So it's just looking at that and being careful about where you're spending your money and how you're spending your money, because how you spend your money and how you do your advertising is probably more important in the long run than it is, are we making an instant ROI profit from day one? That's just something to consider, I think. But
Definitely.
yeah, it's been a really exciting thing at end screens for us.
Love it. Tom, thanks so much for the insight. Appreciate it. And if somebody wanted to find out the teaching that you're doing there, is that something that you're going to make available to people at some point in the future? Or are you at the moment just internalizing this for your own reasons, purposes, training, etc.?
Well, what I'm hoping is that people are going to come up to you at one of your events and mistake you for me, and then
that's a real thing.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
So if people want to learn more about this, stick around on the podcast. I'll be teaching more about this stuff as well. So definitely subscribe and make sure you're listening in. The other thing that I think is important to note is that with these choose your own adventure stories that we're creating on YouTube, Ollie, I'd love to get you down as well, down to the studio, and if we have a choose your own adventure style for creating your first product or creating your first sales funnel or something along those lines, I'd love to have you input on that and kind of interview you, and they're all going to be like 2 minutes, like quite cool videos, but I think that like it'd be such a cool thing to do it when I'm like, all right, I'm going to hand over to Ollie now, he's going to take you through this next part, sort of thing. So I think that'd be quite a cool thing to do.
Yeah, love it. Tom, thanks so much. And thanks to everybody who's been listening, and look forward to seeing everybody again on the next episode.
Cheers, guys.